think we're live, Charlie, but I'm not sure. We should be live by now.
Okay.
So welcome to Outside the Movies.
Welcome to Outside the Movies.
But we're inside because it's hot as hell outside.
It's very, very hot. It's ridiculously hot. You could walk outside and explode right now.
Yeah. So we're not doing that. Mm-hmm. So instead we're doing Outside the Movies inside
a place. Inside a place. We're doing inside a place outside the movies.
Our studios. Sure. What's Charlie? We saw Future Hunters.
Speaking of things exploding, we saw Future Hunters.
Man.
And this movie is incredible!
Part of the Sci-Fi Invasion Classic 50 Movies Features set that I got like probably 4 years ago.
There's 50 movies on this.
There's 50 movies in here. Apparently Mark Hamill's in one of them. But Robert Patrick was in this one.
Robert Patrick.
This was his first movie?
Yes, I read on IMDb that this is his first movie. And
he did not disappoint.
He did not disappoint. He's incredible.
Yeah, he started off as like a punk in the beginning.
Yeah, he was like a punk bitch.
And then he has a run-in with a kind of Road Warrior-esque character.
Yeah. Well, the movie
comes from the future.
The movie starts out in Mad Max Future verse.
Yeah, on some sort of like Alamo set, like Alamo ripoff set from some other movie.
But I guess they're also supposed to be in Iraq.
I don't know. I can't really tell. But I guess the guy has no idea what LA is, so it can't be. Yeah, it must be like whatever. Anyway.
Yeah.
The point is, that guy was incredible in the beginning. I don't know who that guy is, but he's great.
Yeah, that guy's incredible. But
he was like the quintessential '80s action hero.
Oh God, he was so amazing. And
just running around snapping necks left and right.
Snapping necks, blowing other cars up.
Yeah.
Running people off the road.
So many cars blowing up.
And then he finds the Lance of Longinus.
Yes.
The spearhead.
Yes.
And he goes...
The spear that pierced Christ's side.
That's what he says. And he also doesn't know who Christ is.
Yeah, I don't think he really knows. It seems like it's like a legend to him.
But apparently everyone in the future is after this.
Yeah, for
and
some reason.
somehow the Lance takes him back in time to the year 1986 in Los Angeles, California.
The year of the movie's release. Weird.
Mm-hmm. Weird. And then Robert Patrick and his girlfriend, they pick him up, and then that's where the movie starts. He dies in the backseat of the car.
Not Robert Patrick.
Yeah, 80s action hero, which is a little disappointing.
It was disappointing, but it ends up being perfect because then Robert Patrick gets to become the 80s action movie star.
Oh my God, and he's...
if only he had somehow magically grown a beard during that time too, it would have been good.
Well, I'm almost surprised that he didn't magically grow a beard because it's like once this movie starts, it really doesn't let up.
We were concerned for a second. Because, because there's a moment where they have to like authenticate the head of the Lance.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh God, it's like in a museum. It's like shot like shit. I mean, the whole movie's kind of shot, but it was inside on like a set, and they're trying to like light it, and it's like boring, and nothing's happening. Like, oh fuck, this is where the movie takes a horrible turn. The action movie guy dies, and then now it's just gonna be this big, boring mess. But then it was like 10 minutes of that, and then it was just nonstop craziness.
It was nuts. It was nuts. So like I was saying, like I'm almost surprised that Robert Patrick didn't grow a beard in this because there's no sense of time.
Briefly try to describe like in like 2 to 3 word bursts like what happens like from getting from one set piece to the next.
Okay. Well.
They come out of the museum.
They come out of the museum. They do something. I don't remember what they do.
Doesn't matter.
And then
they're suddenly where?
They suddenly go to Japan.
They're in Japan.
And they're there to find something out. They go to an ancient temple, and they have to fight the Kung Fu master of the ancient temple.
So ancient temple, Kung Fu master. They meet Bruce Lee impersonator.
They meet apparently this guy's name is Bruce Lee. And he is a Bruce Lee impersonator, and he was with them. I don't know how he got there with them. It happened really fast, but he was with
friends,
them.
I guess.
And he went to Japan with them, and they had this big kung fu fight outside of the...
For like 10 to 15 minutes, they had like this really long kung fu fight.
Yeah.
With this like master guy.
And
I don't remember why that happened.
It looked like a Bruce Lee fight.
It just turned into a different movie for a little bit. And they were fighting each other. And then that was amazing. And then right after that, we go to...
There was an assassin.
Yeah, there was an assassin. And then, but right after that, we go, and then there's like an interrogation scene in the hotel room with the heroine.
Yeah, and the mob was there. Like, I guess the Japanese mob was there.
The Yakuza or something was there, and then
they beat him up, and that's when Robert Patrick...
They beat the guy up, they interrogate him, they try to figure out what's going on, and that sends them to Manila?
Yeah.
Right?
Then that's when Robert Patrick starts to ascend to action movie star.
Yeah.
Because he's like, he beats all of these Yakuza up.
He beats the fuck out of them.
And then interrogates the guy.
Well, okay, so then, so he gets to Manila.
They were in Manila. What happened in Manila? There's so many things that happened in this movie.
They get to Manila, and then I guess they immediately go into the woods.
I feel like we're missing something.
Probably, but it doesn't really matter.
There was so much that happened in the movie.
The point is,
they went all over the damn world.
The Nazis show up, and then we realize that it's the guy from the museum who's like the head Nazi.
Yeah, and the Nazis want the Spear of Longinus
for whatever reason.
They found out from the Yakuza.
Yeah.
That everybody wants the Spear of Longinus.
Yeah.
And that the shaft of Longinus
is,
which sounds like a porno.
Yeah, it almost is.
It's
with a newly formed tribe of Amazon women
in Southeast Asia.
Newly formed tribe of Amazon women
in Southeast Asia.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess they're in Laos or Cambodia or Vietnam or something. And
so they go into the woods, and then they get the Nazis capture our heroes. And then are immediately attacked by somebody whom we assumed, because they had just talked about the Amazon women, maybe like 2 scenes before.
Yeah.
We assumed that these were the Amazon women, and we're like, these all look like men.
These all look like dudes riding these horses and swords. And they're riding horses and swords. And then, like, we realize halfway through it that it is all dudes.
And then we're like, what's happening? They don't explain this.
They don't explain this. Their camp just gets completely overrun by these guys with swords and horses, and it's a very long sequence.
They're overrun by a Mongol horde.
And they don't find out that it's a Mongol horde until they...
In Southeast Asia.
In Southeast Asia, until they find the... I don't really know how to put this...
They were kind of... I mean, it was like the Jawa, Ewok kind of thing, like Jodorowsky's Holy Mountain, where there's like all the little people in the mountain kind of thing.
They find a clan of little people in the mountain.
Yeah. And
they all have crossbows.
And it's kind of like the Ewoks.
Yeah, and they tell them that the Mongols...
The Mongol horde is like their enemy.
And I guess the Mongol horde has overrun the entire country or something. And I don't know how the Mongols got there.
I don't know how they got there either.
But we don't even find out that they're Mongols until that happens.
That moment.
And so then they have to go... Then they have to go fight the Mongol horde, and it's like a sneaking mission.
And that part's kind of boring.
Yeah.
It's just really dark.
It's really dark.
And you can't really see what's going on. It's like, because everyone's wearing black and brown, and then it's like filmed like at the end of the day or something. And so it's like everything's real dark, and you're trying to like pay attention to what people are like fighting, and you can't tell what's happening. But it doesn't matter, because then the Nazis show back up right after that.
Yeah.
And then...
Well, they beat the Mongol horde.
Yeah.
And then the Nazis show up after that again. And then...
Right?
Oh,
God, I can't remember. I think something...
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he fights him and then he...
There's the bridge sequence.
There's the generic bridge sequence where the bridge collapses.
Which is crazy because the mid-level Nazi guy was just this big dude with like platinum blonde hair... Mm-hmm. And this really long scarf that went down to his waist, and like he was like the mid boss,
yeah.
And they were fighting him on the bridge, And I guess Robert Patrick he like stuffed a grenade in this guy's shirt.
But it was in like a wide shot, so you couldn't really tell.
Yeah.
And the guy's just running around, and you're like, oh, I guess he did something to that guy. And then the guy runs back the other way down the bridge, and then mid-level Nazi dude comes up, and he's like, what? And then it just explodes, and then I guess it kills both of them. I mean,
yeah.
it at least kills dude. And then the bridge collapses, and then they move on. But then there's a shot right after that of the Nazis, like, going through the forest, and you can clearly see
that he's there.
The gigantic Nazi dude's there.
With the scarf.
But he doesn't come back.
He doesn't come back. I think it's because...
They just didn't have a traveling shot?
I guess they just didn't have a traveling shot without that guy in it.
So they just had to do that.
Yeah, they just did it.
Okay.
Which is pretty nuts.
That makes sense, though.
And then they finally... They're on the
run. The
run.
other guy dies. He like kicks him off the edge and he rolls down and dies, right, or something.
Yeah, something like that. But they're on the run, and then they finally find the Amazon.
Yeah.
The newly formed Amazon tribe in Southeast Asia. They finally find their camp, and it's about exactly as what you would expect it would be. It's
incredible. A
lot of scantily clad women with spears and torches.
They don't trust men.
They don't trust men, and they get into.
They make the heroine get into a basically a knife brawl over a pit of alligators.
Oh man!
And she wins.
And the reason why, like, the prize is the life of her boyfriend.
Oh, the life of her man.
Of the life of her man and stuff,
and then they get to go into the cave where the thing is.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. And so the alligators that are stock footage alligators get fed.
They rip that girl apart.
The
lady defeats.
And then they go and get the lance, and
the Nazi shows up.
Is that when he shows up?
Head Nazi historian guy. He shows up in that cave.
Yeah.
And they get into a big fight with him.
Oh, that's right, because they knock over that sheet that has like a bunch of trinkets on it.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that's there.
I don't know why that's there either, but that's how Robert Patrick manages to subdue him. He grabs a candelabra and smashes him in the head. And she puts the lance and the shaft together and throws it at him.
And then what's his great one-liner?
He catches it.
The lance is like shaking like this
because it's
made
obviously made out of rubber. Yeah. And he stabs the Nazi and he turns into ash and he's just like.
No, before he stabs him,
he says something. Something about traveling.
It's like, have a nice trip.
Have a nice trip.
Or something. It's something to do with a trip.
But it's have a nice trip. That's what it is. Yeah.
But he doesn't trip the guy.
He doesn't trip the guy.
So it doesn't really work.
But they just did it.
But they did it anyway. He just said the line, stabbed him, and then they leave, and like some foam boulders are falling. And
foam boulders are falling over everybody. And there's like an earthquake.
It hits a couple of the Amazon like extras running around, which is kind of funny.
I feel really bad for them because it looks like those fake boulders were probably heavier.
I mean, they're probably a little bit heavier than you would think.
Yeah.
And
but they get saved by the little people again.
Right. They come and dig them out, and then at the very end of the movie, this last shot is her going up and holding the lance up, and then
so they save the future by doing that.
Yeah, I guess.
In fact, I think someone even says that
we save the future.
We save the future now.
We're future hunters now.
So I guess the Nazis have been defeated.
Yeah, Nazis have been defeated.
The Yakuza have been defeated.
Yes.
So I guess all the people that wanted the Lance of Longinus are defeated,
and they have the lance.
But I'm not quite sure how they saved the future from nuclear war.
I'm not sure either. Well, it was also
because that's what it was. It was nuclear war. It started out with
it was genocide. It was like mass genocide.
It wasn't nuclear war.
No. There's there's like a cleansing that happens.
Oh, and
which is like a hint at the Nazi thing later.
Yeah, that's the Nazi guy's plan. He wants to cleanse the earth of all the useless people.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't really. I don't remember him ever really like spelling it out, but.
He does at the end.
Oh, does he? Okay.
He does at the end.
I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah,
when he started doing his spiel,
when he started his monologue.
Yeah.
There's another scene when they first reveal him to be.
Not a historian, but a Nazi dude.
Yeah, it's in the scene with Dr. Hightower. I forgot about that. Dr. Hightower. That takes place in between the Japan sequence, and I think that's what happens in Manila.
Okay.
You remember that because they show up at that house. They show up at that fancy house with the pool.
Uh-huh.
And I was just like,
oh,
look, they're going to shoot that guy. And he falls in the pool. Yeah. So they got from the Yakuza boss that they needed to go see Dr. Hightower to figure out what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
They went to Dr. Hightower, who was being held captive in that fancy house in Manila. Mm-hmm. And then that's where we found out that the historian from earlier is actually a Nazi, and he revealed his whole plan there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
I forgot about that. There's a lot of action scenes. They blew the fuck out of that hotel.
They blew the fuck out of that hotel, and I thought that when the Nazi guy tumbled down the hill, he was going to blow up.
I wish he had.
If he just... Because everything else, when it rolled down a hill or hit something, it blew up.
Yeah. I mean, there was... Can we talk about how many explosions there were in this movie?
Constant explosions.
There was constant explosions the moment the movie started.
I would say on average, every 5 minutes something blew up.
It was incredible. It was so amazing. Cars were blowing up. People were blowing up.
They try to get away in a helicopter at one point, and then the Nazi guy calls him on the radio, and it's like, I had a contingency plan for this. Just check under your seat, and then it zooms in on this bomb, and she's like, and then craziest thing, like they just cut outside of the helicopter and they just jump out.
They just jump out
into the and I was like, oh, there's water there. I didn't know there was water there.
There's just water there.
There's just magically water there underneath them now.
Yeah.
And they jump, and then there's just giant explosion.
And then they have to go to an airport. This is how they get to Southeast Asia, where the Mongols are. Yeah. They have to go to an airport, and the guy's just like, Robert Patrick's just like, oh, it's okay. They'll let me fly. I'm a Marine. And then the guy that runs the airport is like, we're not going to let you fly. You're just a Marine. And you're just an
You worked on planes. You didn't fly them.
Yeah.
That's what he says to him.
And then he's just like, okay, look, honey, let me just talk to this guy for a minute, and I'll work something out with him.
Yeah.
And then, like, a few seconds later, he comes running out of there, and he's just like, oh, you worked something out with him? It's like, oh, yeah, we tied up all the paperwork and stuff or something like that. And it's some horrible one-liner. That's not what it was verbatim. But then they cut to a shot of the guy, and he's just like tied up in a wheelchair.
They're still playing, and then this part's incredible too. They're just in the plane. They're talking about something, exposition or something.
Yeah.
And they're flying, and then like the plane starts to run out of gas or something.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Or they just can't land the plane. I can't remember what it is, but they're just like. Everything is just so disposable. They're just like, grab a parachute, and then he holds onto her, and they just jump out of the plane.
They just jump out of the plane.
Fuck it. They just jump out of the plane.
And then the plane just explodes.
It's just there's a stunt guy flying the plane so that he can kind of like do this and make it kind of waver a little bit.
Yeah.
And then they just cut to a toy plane going and crashing into a bush and blowing up.
Yeah. And that's how they get to where the Mongols are.
Yeah.
So
wow, that's the whole movie.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I mean, I loved it.
I loved it. It was a lot of fun.
It's it's
like nonstop.
It really is. It's nonstop. And what's crazy about it is that there's so many different kinds of movies in this movie.
Yeah, it's like 5 different movies in one movie.
Which makes me think it's almost like the logic. It almost has the logic of like a young teenager, or even younger than that, like the logic of a young kid. And it's just like. And then this happens, and then Bruce Lee shows up,
right.
And then like the Nazis show up, and then this plane explodes, and then this building blows up, and then
and then the Mongols show up,
and then the guy comes in the Road Warrior car, and then and then there's the Spear of Jesus with its magic powers that turns that guy into ash.
Right.
So it has like this really unashamed like logic that anything that could happen just happens.
It just happens,
and it doesn't necessarily need to have a reason. And you could say like, yeah, that's like, maybe you could say that that's bad filmmaking or something. But also, it's just like, I guess it depends on what you're going for,
right?
And
within the logic of the film, all of it makes sense.
You're right. Within the logic of the film, all of it makes sense. And if that's what you're going for, and you capture that,
right,
then I say...
Then it's really fun.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
even if not everything makes sense.
Yeah, but you have to take it completely seriously.
Yeah,
which the movie does.
And I definitely salute them for that.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes itself 100% serious, and
that's the only way that works.
Yeah. There's no. I mean, it's also made in 1986.
Sure,
so
but like, there's not any like.
There's no irony to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no wink, wink, nod, nod.
Yeah, there's no.
We know this is silly as fuck.
Yeah, and it just has its premise and it goes with it. It's like somebody. I don't remember this director's name, but I mean, he's got a whole list of movies like this.
Sure,
so it's kind of cool.
He just cranked them out.
He just cranked them out, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about a work ethic too.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, it's like he watched The Road Warrior. He watched Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Star Wars.
Sure, Star Wars.
There's some Star Wars influence in there.
Enter the Dragon.
Yeah.
And it's like he watched maybe one of the First Blood movies. Yeah, and it's like he must have watched all of those and said, I can do that.
Yeah,
and then he did it.
Yeah.
And it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts.
And yeah, it's awesome.
So you would not recommend it?
I would, of course, I would recommend it. It's fucking great.
Okay.
It's amazing to me how little information about this movie is
available.
Yeah, like there's no Wikipedia.
You were
page
trying to look it up.
There's so little information on IMDb about it. Like I don't think I could find like a budget or anything.
There is available for free on DailyMotion.com. I did just find that out.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, you should see it.
Yeah, just go watch it. Or you can find this at Walmart. Like I did.
Like, as soon as this movie was done, I was looking for a poster of it. Actually, not even as soon as it was done. Halfway through it, I was looking for a poster of it on eBay, and I was really disappointed to see that I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
However, I did find a Laserdisc copy, but I'm probably not going to find that.
Because you don't have a Laserdisc player.
Well, I don't have a Laserdisc player.
You have no way to play it.
I have no way to play it.
It wouldn't really work.
No, but it would be kind of cool to see the movie in 16:9, though.
That would be nice, because we saw it. 4:3.
4:3.
Obviously not the way it was shot.
Obviously not the way it was shot. But at least it didn't have any pan and scan in it. Good lord.
Yeah. Woof.
Yeah.
Anything else?
It's really good. And I want to see more of this guy's movies.
Maybe you'll see some more of this guy's movies on Outside the Movie, Inside the Movies edition.